Hello, my name is Victoria Vadell, and today I will be sharing the story of how my family started their own coffee shop recently, about a year ago, as of August this year. Our coffee shop is called Techspresso Cafe, and I'll be showing you some pictures along with some developing of the story of how it came to be. I would recommend this for honestly any audience of really any age, but I think it would be especially entertaining for if there was a kind of entrepreneurship program or something that is similar in any type of library or information center. So, Texpresso all starts on campus at Florida State University, Panama City. My father, Dr. Jamil Vadell, was teaching an entrepreneurship class and wanted his students to have real world experience on how to develop a business. So, their task was simple: create a coffee shop. Their final exam was to create a business plan that would include dozens of social media marketing and menu items, how they would source their materials, if they would go green, and that kind of thing. He was so impressed with what he saw that he said, talk is cheap. Let's see you do it. And so Techspresso was born. He grabbed his students, and two of the students from the group that created Techspresso became interns at his company. And they started developing what we know today as Techspresso Cafe in Panama City Beach, Florida. A lot of the coffee knowledge coming in was mine, as I was a barista at several different coffee shops throughout my undergraduate journey. So I would come in and consult on where to find different coffee and how to acquire that coffee, as well as some social media marketing. But it all started in a classroom at Florida State University, Panama City. My father owns a business in Panama City Beach called Paradigm Leaders, and right next door there was an open building where he decided that it would be a perfect place for a coffee shop. The location's a little bit out of the way, but it kind of adds to the appeal of a small family-run coffee shop. Here are some photos of what it looked like on the journey. Okay, it was very entertaining to be able to see everything come to life, and you'll see some after pictures as well here in a second. One of the coolest aspects of Techspresso as a coffee shop is our unique countertop. One of my father's friends, Dr. Ewing, does resin pouring, and so he put coffee beans in resin on top of our Techspresso green, and our coffee tops were born. I believe that they are so beautiful and unique, and I think they really add a great touch. Eventually, it came down to the point of deciding what we would carry in the coffee shop. So our three first things that we began carrying was Badass Coffee for our espresso and drip coffee, Darko's Delish, which is a bakery company owned by someone we know and love in Panama City as well. We really wanted to highlight local businesses. And we also serve Lotus Energy, and it's the only coffee shop in the area that sells Lotus Energy. It's very similar to a Starbucks refresher, and we wanted to be able to give people a choice that wasn't necessarily coffee or a carbonated energy drink. Later down the line, we did include Red Bull infusions as well, but these were our three main suppliers as we started the coffee shop. One of the main appeals of the coffee shop was that it would have ample space for studying, as, again, this was a project done by students for students. So here I have pictured some of the rooms that you saw earlier. For the first, in the top left-hand corner, we have the Einstein room, which is where a lot of group collaboration takes place. There are many different groups that come in and study or do book clubs throughout the week. In the top right, we have more of our lounge space with the couch and a couple chairs. Many teenagers from the high school come and utilize this space. And then we have our main space where we have just a hodgepodge of chairs, a couch, our projector. It makes it a very welcoming and warm environment. And that was really the goal of my father for this coffee shop. So as you can see, it really came together, and you can actually kind of see a little bit of the stage where we would use that in some of our upcoming events that I'll talk about later in the story. After ironing out all of the creases, it became time to open Techspresso Cafe for the public. We had news coverage in the area, as this was a very big deal for the college and to promote the students and how they were working. Here I have an image. I'm actually working in the background of it, but I have an image of one of the original students who created Techspresso, and he is interviewing live on our opening day. This is a very big deal for my family and I. And the image to the right is my family and I and my best friend, who is a worker at the coffee shop, in front of the menu. The menu has changed a little bit since we started, but I love this photo as it has a couple samples as we were trying to get the word out and our grand opening. I do have the privilege to say that I worked the grand opening, and I do work every time that I go home, like once in a while, to get back in the feel of things. But going through all of the effort and the work of creating this coffee shop was really amazing to help my father with and to see it come to life in this way. Once we had the coffee shop in full swing, we started to do our events, which is what we are coming to be known for. So every Sunday, we have a Game of Thrones watch-a-thon, which started with a House of Dragons watch-a-thon, where we would, every Sunday, the new episodes of House of Dragons would come on, and we would have people over with a special Game of Thrones themed drinks, and we have continued the tradition. A big deal for my family was doing Jeeps and Coffee, which was a market-style meetup for Florida Jeep Jam, which happens in Panama City Beach every year. Being able to participate in that event as a vendor was a huge dream come true for my family and my father, especially, as they are big Jeepers. We have open mic night and karaoke very often, with a collaboration with a food truck called So Trucking Delicious. And so they'll come out twice a month. They'll go up in front of the coffee shop, and people can participate in open mic night and karaoke, as well as get some delicious food. So that is kind of the regular events that we've come to know and love. All of the work for the events and going through and picking the best quality products we could really paid off, because this year we were nominated in the top 5 for Best of Bay in 2023. This is a huge deal, as we had only been open for, I think, 6 to 8 months by the time that this announcement came out, and we were thrilled. Unfortunately, we did not make it into the top 3, but to even be nominated for the 5 is an incredible feat. And I really wanted to highlight this, as this is a culmination of all the hard work that everyone involved has put into the coffee shop. Through a stroke of luck, my father came across the sale of a wonderful food truck that we have been able to turn into our mobile hotspot, is what we call it, for coffee. And so this truck goes out, and it has its own set of espresso machine and everything, and it goes out to different mobile events to both promote the coffee shop and make its own revenue. It's a really fun experience, and I have worked on the truck a couple times with the family, and to be able to say that the coffee shop has grown so much to where we have our physical location as well as the truck is an amazing feat and an awesome experience. So some developments have been made since the original start of our coffee shop. We do still serve badass coffee for our drip coffee, but with a partnership of my father and his good friend, Dr. Ewing, they have made PH Duo Coffee Roasters, which is their own coffee roasting company, and they provide the beans for our delicious cap and gown espresso blend. And so that is the espresso we have grown to use and love, and it is delicious. We also have a partnership with Red Bull, where we serve Red Bull infusions as well as just cans of Red Bull in our fancy little fridges. And it was a huge deal for us to be partnered with Red Bull in that way. Also, my father has made a business friendship with the owner for Clothes for Life, and she makes our amazing merchandise for Techspresso. She makes sweaters, sweatshirts, hats, mugs, everything under the sun for our coffee shop. And so she is one of the businesses that actually works in some back rooms that we rent out to local businesses that are within the coffee shop. As my story comes to a close, I love to be able to share the story of how our coffee shop has come to be and how it has flourished from the moment it opened till now. We love seeing how much of a growth period, how we've been able to hire new employees, give back to the community, interact with other small businesses. It is a wonderful, wonderful experience. So this last picture that I've included is of my father and I on a day that I worked with him. I do love going home and working with everyone, and it's just been a wonderful experience, and I'm so happy that I was able to share it with you.